During the day, my Nemesis and I were at each other's throats. At night, I pinned a lifelike android that looked exactly like him and slapped him silly. Still wanna talk back? The android pushed back feebly, then nuzzled my palm obsequiously. Little puppy doesn't talk back. Little puppy only obeys master. The next day, my Nemesis's face was red and swollen. I chimed in, feeling great. Oh? Someone's finally been punched for their smart mouth, huh? The tips of my Nemesis's ears turned red. He lowered his head and whispered in my ear, "That's master's reward for her little puppy." 1. The first-generation android robot developed by a subsidiary of Huayu, Universal, Group. It was based on the bioinformation and appearance of the Universal Group's young master, Ethan Liu. The initial reveal amazed the entire Federation. Ethan Liu was young, handsome, rich, and had countless admirers. They all declared that once it officially went on sale, they would break the bank, even without certain, special, functions, just to buy one and display it at home. I complained to my childhood friend. The netizens were blinded by his looks and didn't know how awful the person was. That jerk has been my personal tormentor since childhood. I had a crush, he told the teacher. I skipped class, he called my parents. I cursed at him, he pretended to be deaf. I hit him, he asked me if I was even trying. To get rid of him, I impulsively signed up for the Warzone volunteer medical team when I was 18, ready to bleed for the cause. He would rather drive without a license than fly thousands of kilometers overnight to trip me up. Based on his 20 years of unwavering dedication to sticking to me like glue and being a pain in my neck, I had to buy an android of him to take home. I would step all over him every day to soothe my anger. Unfortunately, my plan failed. The officially released version didn't use Ethan Liu's image but instead chose a virtual image created by AI. Until a certain Warzone launched a fundraising campaign. The project team of its subsidiary auctioned off the first and only android prototype at a charity gala. That day, Ethan insinuated that my boyfriend was a gold digger, causing us to break up. That night, I anonymously bid and won the android Ethan Liu. 2. The assistant brought in the android Ethan Liu and casually placed a large bag of supplies on the coffee table. Before leaving, he wished me a good time. I sat on the single sofa eating grapes. I addressed the android, who was standing like he was being punished. "Come here." The android, sporting Ethan Liu's cold face, walked to my side, waiting for the next instruction. "Kneel at my feet." The android replied calmly, "I'm sorry, you don't have permission." The nerve of this guy, "You don't have permission." I lifted the hem of his shirt, making him hold it up so it wouldn't fall. I pressed my grape juice-stained hand against his abs. I remembered that was where the binding was. He arched like a cooked shrimp, trembling slightly. I clicked my tongue in amazement, it was quite realistic. Once bound, I wiped my hands on his abs. I leaned back on the sofa. "Can you kneel now?" The android pursed his lips and knelt. "Bring your hands up and put them on my legs." The android hovered his hands in the air. His palms were large, covering most of my thighs. A temperature slightly warmer than mine was transmitted through the thin stockings. For a moment, I was distracted, thinking of Ethan Liu. The android's data was based on Ethan Liu's measurements. I had a mischievous thought. "Spit out your measurements." 193 centimeters, 76 kilograms. "Anything else?" The android refused to answer. "I don't understand your meaning." My fingertip traced over his pectoral muscle, "Here." My foot in stockings stepped on him, "And here." The android squeezed his eyes shut and said with difficulty, 117 centimeters, 23 cm. I glanced at his crotch and chose not to believe it. Ethan Liu hadn't had a girlfriend or boyfriend for years. He must be lacking down there. The vain jerk was lying about his measurements. I peeled a grape and held it to his lips. He opened his mouth shyly and swallowed it. I felt something lightly brush my fingertip. Of course, I didn't care about being licked by a dog. I said, "Good doggy. This is a reward for answering master's questions well." And he knelt on the ground, being fed by me, looking up at me. Just like a dog. "Do you know what your name is?" "I am." His Adam's apple bobbed, "Ethan Liu." I scratched his chin, "Not anymore, now you're just my little puppy." His eyes gradually glazed over, and he nodded as if bewitched. I am your little puppy." My little puppy reached for the bag on the coffee table. His face flushed as he stammered, Do you want to use it?" I stared at the face that was identical to Ethan Liu's for 3 seconds. I imagined the scene of Ethan Liu making stir-fries. My cheeks burned. I smacked his head, "Use it? Use your head." 3. I hit the snooze button a millisecond before the alarm went off. I stumbled groggily to my 130 square meter bathroom. The toothpaste was already squeezed on, so I picked it up and brushed my teeth. I took the hot towel and wiped the water off my face. I turned around to see Ethan Liu standing there with a smile. Seeing a ghost in broad daylight. I retreated, my back hitting the sink. Ethan Lu quickly grabbed me. I wildly shook off his hand. Jerk. What are you doing? His expression was momentarily hurt. Soon, it was replaced by confusion and grievance. Did little puppy do something wrong? It dawned on me. This person in front of me wasn't Ethan Lu but my little puppy. I scanned little puppy's attire. Unlike Ethan Lu's hair, which was always meticulously styled with hair gel, little puppy's hair hung down fresh and soft, looking youthful. Underneath the pink and blue frilly apron was a black turtleneck sweater and dress pants. The assistant bought it according to my aesthetic and delivered it with the little puppy. He looked even more stunning in it. That was the perfect house husband look I was going for. I raised my arm. Little puppy immediately picked me up in a princess carry. At the dining table, I slowly finished a small cup of espresso. He was my cushion. His large hands massaged my injured waist. Before leaving, I pulled him down a bit and pinched his cheek. Won't be back for lunch, he mumbled. I didn't give him time to speak and turned to leave. That night, I opened the door, exhausted. Little puppy, standing like a statue in the entrance hall, greeted me with delight. Why are you back so late? I made dinner, do you want to eat now? No wonder every successful woman said. You can replace your boyfriend if he's no good, but a good housekeeper is a treasure forever. I said with affection, you don't have to prepare dinner unless I say I'm coming back. Walking inside, I found that he had already cleaned the bathroom. My favorite songs were playing softly through the speakers. The silk nightgown was also folded neatly on the side. I took a leisurely bath. I was about to change into the nightgown when I realized that little puppy hadn't brought me my underwear. I shouted, little puppy. His voice came from outside the door. I didn't expect him to be waiting at the door all along. The light from the hallway cast the outline of his body onto the frosted glass door, creating a shadow. What a perverted little puppy. Where's my underwear? You're not allowed to hide it. I'm sorry, He's just an android. Aside from having Ethan Lu's face, he's no different from a robot vacuum, a smart toilet, or the projection device above the bathtub. There's nothing to be shy about. I interrupted him. You bad dog. Did you want me to go commando? Go get it for me quickly. He was awkward. He opened the door a crack and extended his arm. I took it and put it on. In the silence between the music, I heard his rapid breathing. Are you dressed? I found it amusing. What are you afraid of? Do you think I'm going to eat you? He squeezed in, picked up the hairdryer, and started drying my hair. His strong fingers ran gently through my hair. I thought I heard him say something amid the whirring of the dryer. I didn't hear it clearly. 4. On the first day that little puppy got his new phone, he bombarded me with messages. When are you coming home? I'm just wondering if I should prepare dinner. I don't mean to rush you. Me, not coming back. What's little puppy doing at home? Little puppy, do you have a social engagement? Little puppy is waiting for you to come home. Me, I have a date. I put away my phone, ignoring the nonstop notifications. I got into the passenger seat of my ex-boyfriend Wesley Lee's car. Wesley booked a restaurant on the top floor. It had a panoramic view of the City H's nightscape. The atmosphere would have been perfect if Ethan Lu wasn't standing at our table with a sour look on his face. His chest rose and fell, and he was breathing heavily. A few strands of his usually immaculate hair were loose. It was obvious that he had come to pick a fight on purpose. I was speechless. Get out of here. Ethan tried to calm his breathing. Can your taste get any worse? Wesley looked at me weakly. What? Wasn't his pitiful, green tea flavor strong enough? I glared at Ethan fiercely. What's it to you? Ethan choked for a moment. I won the first round and was about to leave with my arm around Wesley's neck. My mom called at that moment. Xiao Su. I heard you're keeping a male student. Don't mess around with men outside, talk to someone who knows you inside and out. I didn't expect Ethan to be 24 and still tell my mom on me. I roared at him in disbelief. Ethan. Are you sick? I'm 26. Do you think I'm 16? You actually told my mom? Are you the moral police? If you're offended by me playing around with men, you can gouge your eyes out. Since the cat was out of the bag, Wesley, the man being played, awkwardly tugged at my clothes. Faced with my roar, Ethan played dumb again. I kicked him hard, grabbed Wesley, and stormed off. Wesley was also deflated. He tearfully accused me. Sis, you're really not serious about me, huh? I knew. This relationship of mine was completely ruined by that dog, Ethan. 5. Little puppy was still waiting for me in the entrance hall when I got home. He looked listless. I wasn't in the mood to care about him and threw myself on the bed and cried. Not because of the breakup, but because I was angry at Ethan for playing dirty and calling my parents on me. Little puppy squatted helplessly by the bed. He tried to wipe my tears. I didn't want to see Ethan's face and ordered him to turn around. looking at the back of little puppy's head, which was identical to Ethan's. I couldn't help but ask, Ethan, why do you hate me so much? What did I ever do to offend you? Little puppy, I don't hate you. Shut up. I continued to cry, why do you have to go against me in everything? If you hate me, then don't show up in front of me, don't you know, out of sight, out of mind? So childish. You're in your 20s and still calling my parents on me, what do you want? Little puppy. The assistant sent me a document. Attached text, Ms. White, the chairman asked me to forward this to you. I opened it and saw Wesley's information. My dad had dug up everything about him, confirming that he was a professional gold digger. I wailed, so what if I'm the daughter of a nouveau riche? I know he's after my money, but I don't need true love, as long as he provides me with emotional support. Is it against the law for a successful woman to play around with men? Little puppy turned around without permission, looking up at me from below with Ethan's face. He was beautiful, but I was in a bad mood. So, I stepped on his face. He went from half squatting to half kneeling, his hand grasping my foot. Emotional support that is bought with money is a toxic relationship, you shouldn't indulge in it. I glared at him, I'm going to play around. He suddenly leaned closer and said seriously, then play with me. My raised leg was already pressing against his chest, becoming a buffer between us. This guy's expression was too much like Ethan's. But Ethan would never kneel at my feet and talk to me. I pulled my foot back and kicked his shoulder. You're a little puppy I bought, of course I'll play with you as much as I want. He kissed my calf, I'm your little puppy, and little puppy will never betray master. So, play with me. 6. My mom told me not to be mad at Ethan. Little puppy also tried his best to soothe my emotions. After calming down, I could admit that Ethan wasn't completely malicious towards me, only 7 or 8 parts out of 10. So, before Ethan's 24th birthday party, I specially commissioned the famous designer, Joe Yu, to customize a pair of jade cufflinks. I planned to give them to Ethan on his birthday as a gesture of goodwill. Joe picked me up at noon and first accompanied me to get my hair done. In the evening, he would attend as my date. The venue was filled with elegant gowns and stylish suits. I handed the gift to a waiter and walked in with Joe's arm. I saw Ethan surrounded by people in the distance. I thought he had radar for tracking his enemies, his eyes scanned over immediately. I adjusted my mood and smiled at him. He quickly walked up. I sincerely wished him, happy birthday. But he ignored me and asked Joe directly, why are you back? Joe responded with a flawless smile, I heard someone broke up, so I came back. Huh? Who broke up? I haven't heard of any of my childhood friends who are dating breaking up. Ethan shot a venomous glare at my arm linked with Joe's. You wouldn't even let the grass right under your nose go, would you? I was furious. I couldn't take it anymore. He wanted to expose my affair with a young college guy to the whole world, not leaving me any face, huh? I gritted my teeth, squeezing the words out, Ethan, you really can't say anything nice, can you? My parents and Ethan's parents were exchanging pleasantries inside. I didn't want to ruin the birthday party, so I suppressed my anger and walked straight to the door. I picked out the gift I had prepared from the pile of presents, took it, and left. Good intentions wasted, I was an idiot to give him a gift. Joe took me out to relax. I demanded that we order 10 male models. I was just tacky, I was just addicted to toxic relationships, and it was none of Ethan's business. Joe reluctantly ordered 2 for me. Between hugging one on each side, Joe sighed, always arguing like this, you two have been at it for over 20 years, from kindergarten until now. I downed a glass of wine, I must have killed him in my past life. A young male model refilled my empty glass, and I downed another one. A moral paragon. He's definitely a moral paragon. But it's not like I'm morally bankrupt, right? Does he have to target me like this? And he said I wanted to eat the grass right under my nose, he thinks too little of me. A waiter carried a tray, and Joe smilingly placed all 10 shots of the alcoholic challenge on the tray in front of me. Do you really think it's tacky to eat the grass under your nose? I downed the shots one by one, and in between, I patted Joe's shoulder, comforting him, don't worry, I really don't mean that. Really? Too bad, I do. I was lightheaded from the alcohol. Leaning against the chest of the little male model, I was almost falling asleep. Vaguely, I felt Joe pulling me towards him. The music in the bar was deafening. Joe leaned close to my ear and asked me, your place or mine? I wanted to say go our separate ways, I still had to feed the dog. Before I could speak, he made the decision himself. Let's go to my place, you're drunk, I don't feel comfortable leaving you alone. He supported me as we walked out of the booth, but someone blocked our way. Where are you taking her? Joe, none of your business. I had the right to speak here. I raised my hand, I want to go home to be with little puppy. Joe raised an eyebrow in surprise, when did you get a dog, why didn't you tell me? I giggled, how could I be so embarrassed to tell everyone about it? The person blocking the way interrupted us. Hand her over to me. Joe, Ethan, why don't you ask her if she wants to go with you? The person got closer, lowering his dark eyes and silently gazing at me. It was my obedient little puppy. I reached out to hug him, telling Joe shyly, he's not Ethan, he's just my little puppy. Everyone in the world knew about Universal Group releasing an Ethan Lou android. So, I just needed to briefly explain, and Joe would definitely understand. Little puppy picked me up in his arms. I put my arm around his neck and waved goodbye to Joe. Joe was left behind, saying jealously, isn't this despicable of you? Little puppy said, not as despicable as you. Unfortunately, my brain had crashed, I could only hear the sound but couldn't understand the meaning. 7. Little puppy wiped my feet with a wet towel. I insisted on taking a bath. No, you're drunk, it's not safe. You can help me wash. He pursed his lips tightly and didn't speak. What? Are you afraid of getting wet? I hugged his head, looking for an excuse. You're so smart, would you still get water damage? In any case, it's not allowed. I didn't want to listen to an android. I struggled to take off my clothes. I wanted to take off my pullover sweater. Little puppy held me tightly from behind. I was driven by lust. I reached back and squeezed his butt. He grabbed my offending hand. No. You dare refuse me? How dare you? You're not sober right now. I was very sober. You're the one I bought. I say you can, then you can. He asked me, is it only okay for little puppy? Is it not okay for Ethan? He brought up that jerk again. I was annoyed. Let go. Whose side are you on? I'm your master, okay? I unbuttoned little puppy's shirt button by button. Little puppy was scolded by me, not daring to move, even his chest revealed a layer of pale pink. I opened the gift box and fastened the butterfly jade cufflinks, which I had originally prepared to give to Ethan, onto the buttonhole on little puppy's chest. Someone doesn't deserve it, I'm giving it to you. Little puppy lowered his head, his fingertips touching the butterfly's wings. I contentedly admired little puppy's face. The more I looked at it, the more beautiful it was. Such a beautiful face should be paired with a good personality like little puppy's. I announced my evil plan. I'll take you to order a few suits tomorrow, and then we'll get rid of Ethan, and let you be Ethan, okay? Little puppy's eyes looked like they were about to cry. He looked at me with watery eyes. Do you really, really hate Ethan that much? I hiccuped, the alcohol fumes surging up. Drowsily, I muttered, it's not that I hate Ethan, it's that I hate Ethan hating me. 8. I had a dream. It was the first summer after I, as the daughter of a nouveau riche, moved into the most luxurious villa district in City H. The children all called me a beggar from a coal miner's family. I ordered the little pot-bellied pig to pee on the spot, and rubbed a ball of pea and mud to throw at them. That ball of pea mud embarrassingly brushed against the trouser leg of the beautiful, cold-faced little Ethan Lou, whom I had just met. The children scattered. I was immersed in the blow to my self-esteem, and I said to him in a nasty tone, what? Do you want to call me a beggar too? After cursing, I picked up the little pot-bellied pig and ran away crying. I knew that I was wrong to vent my anger on him, so the next day I brought a gift to apologize to the beautiful little Ethan Lou. The lawn under my feet was almost trampled bare by me. Awkwardly, I stuffed the glass jar containing the butterflies I had caught all morning into his hands. He was clearly wary and probing. This wariness disappeared on the 12th time I went to find him with the little pot-bellied pig. We squatted side by side in the sunset, watching the little pot-bellied pig frolic on his lawn, and sharing a popsicle. When his nanny came to find him to go back, I tacitly took the half-eaten popsicle he had bitten and hid it behind me. This was actually a very serious matter. After receiving a phone call, my dad ordered me not to feed Ethan Lou junk food anymore. I sneaked into Ethan Lou's house. I saw his cheeks were flushed, and touching them was shockingly hot. Joe told me. Ethan Lou and we were not the same kind of people. For example, this is your family's most expensive and best house, but Ethan is different, their family has a manor, the difference between us and him is like a toy car and a Rolls-Royce Phantom, he only comes here every summer vacation, and never plays with us. Joe reached out his hand, and I broke the last popsicle left in the refrigerator compartment and gave it to him. He pursed his lips, his eyes narrowed sweetly. For example, the popsicle you give him, for him, is like drinking dirty water from the sewer. I was stunned. Really? I made him sick. Joe said again, it doesn't matter, you can give it to me in the future, it's really sweet. I looked up as if I felt something and saw Ethan Lou standing quietly behind the curtains watching us. The next day, my mom picked up a painting from outside. It was a crayon drawing of Little Sue, Little Ethan, and Little Pot-Bellied Pig. Ethan Lou said he wanted to frame it and put it on his bedside. He hated me. Then I'll hate him too. I woke up thirsty. Little Puppy was lying on my quilt, fully clothed. At this moment, I treated him as Ethan Lou. I cupped his cheeks. He was only half asleep, opened his eyes, and was still very confused. We looked at each other quietly, and I kissed him lightly. His eyes widened, not having time to indulge in it. As if he suddenly remembered something, he covered his mouth and backed away, rolling straight off the bed. I rolled my eyes. What a chase dog. Thirsty? Go pour water, or I'll drink you. He ran to pour water for me at a sprint speed. I'll scare you to death, you chase dog. 9. Ethan Lou had been acting strange lately. He seemed to have suddenly become free. He dressed up gaudily and paraded in front of me every few days. I went back to my parents' house every 2 weeks, and I had run into Ethan Lou 3 times in a row. The first time, he was watering the flowers in the garden. But my family hired professional gardeners, so I scolded him for putting on a show to deceive my mom. The second time, he was teasing a mynah bird with my dad. I heard the stinky mynah bird clearly say, "Xiaosu plays with men," which made me chase after it to beat it. The third time, I had just stepped into the house, and he handed me slippers and an apron. I said to him, "Thank you, Auntie." He was a little at a loss, a little like my little puppy. But I would never soften my heart. He was acting like this because he was having a moral police attack, feeling that I couldn't even be a good daughter, and preparing to get my parents to judge me together. In addition, he also always appeared at my social events. He greeted my friends or business partners with a natural expression. The business partners were eager to get in touch with him. So, he could naturally sit down. If Universal Group's stock hadn't been rising all the way, I would have suspected that he had gone bankrupt and had no money to eat, so he was freeloading off me every day. In private, I had my assistant check everyone in the secretary's office. I couldn't find out who leaked my schedule. Faced with my suspicious gaze, the assistant swore in the video call, "Ms. White, it's really not me." I let her off the hook and prepared to call my mom to ask if she had betrayed me. Little Puppy pushed open the door and walked into the study. He asked me, distressed, "What do you want to eat tomorrow night?" I replied casually, "Not coming back, not eating." I decided to follow Ethan Lou. Ethan Lou went out for some air after the ribbon-cutting ceremony. I hid behind the greenery. I saw a rising star in the tech industry talking to him. At first, Ethan Lou was expressionless. Until that person said something. A hint of a smile appeared on Ethan Lou's face. I turned on my phone's camera and zoomed in on the picture. I saw Ethan Lou smilingly touching his cuff. The emerald green color flashed past his fingertips. Ethan Lou didn't deliberately lower his voice, nor did he deliberately raise it. Instead, he said in a very ordinary but implicitly boastful tone, "My girlfriend gave it to me." Only then did I see clearly. That emerald green was the butterfly cufflink that I gave to Little Puppy. 10. The assistant checked the surveillance cameras in my house. She sorted out the suspicious parts. I sat in the office watching the surveillance videos, and called Joe to ask if he had sold the butterfly cufflinks to anyone else. Joe said that he wouldn't make 2 of the things I had commissioned him to customize. Finally, he brought it up inexplicably, "Be careful of your little puppy, it's okay to play with dogs, but don't get played by the dog." The surveillance video happened to be playing the morning after I bought Little Puppy. In the video, after he saw me off, he turned back from the entrance to the dining table, picked up the coffee cup I had drunk from, looked at it against the light for a while, and covered the lip print on the cup with his lips. After doing this, he cleaned up and left in a hurry. When he came back, it was already 6 in the afternoon. Putting on a good dog act and waiting for me to come home. It was like this every day. That despicable, perverted, bad dog dared to play me. I went home and pretended to be nonchalant. Little Puppy didn't notice anything. He massaged my shoulders as usual. I held a book, reading lightly to the sound of gorgeous symphonic music. Did I seduce you? Have I ever said anything nice to you? Didn't I tell you clearly, I don't love? Ouch, that hurts. There was a pain in my shoulder. He had increased the force. I closed the book and knocked him with the spine. He immediately knelt down, looking at me with pleading eyes and saying, "I'm sorry." Was he begging for my forgiveness because he accidentally hurt me? Or was he begging me not to say the sentence, "I don't love you"? I pinched Little Puppy's chin. "Right, can't you drive? Start picking me up from work tomorrow." 11. At 3 in the afternoon. I told Little Puppy to pick me up now. The assistant who had been staking out near Ethan Lou's company quickly sent me a message that Ethan Lou had left the company early. I sent the assistant a red envelope, telling her to get off work first and not to continue following. Half an hour later, Little Puppy drove my car and appeared downstairs. He was obviously happy. "Why are you so early today? Are we going straight home or taking you to see a movie?" "Really?" He was pleasantly surprised. "Before we go to see a movie," I said, "let's go to Universal Group first, remember? We're going to get rid of Ethan Lou." He was shocked. "Why? That's not legal." I smiled and carefully observed him, not letting go of any subtle changes in his facial expressions. Because he always goes against me. I don't like him. I like you. I want you to become Ethan Lu. Sweat started to bead on his forehead. The joy he had when he heard about going to see a movie together was gone, replaced by panic and pallor. I had never seen that expression on Ethan Lu's face. As the Universal Group building got closer and closer, he finally found an excuse. According to the safety protocol for androids, if I'm discovered, I will be destroyed immediately. Is that so? I enjoyed his flustered appearance. So, you're not even willing to do this little thing for me, then never mind, let's go back. He gritted his teeth and didn't say anything in the end. 12. Of course, a little puppy who wasn't willing to do even the smallest thing for his master had to be neglected. I didn't come home for a week straight. He could no longer use his identity as a little puppy to keep track of my schedule. In that week, I only saw him twice as Ethan Lu. He dressed more brightly. But his face was icy. When I looked at him, he averted his gaze in a panic. I stopped looking at him. But I could see his eyes were fixed on me from the reflection on the glass in front of me. He wouldn't be honest even when given the chance. My patience was limited, and I decided to administer a strong dose. I packed my things. Ethan Lu, no, little puppy now. He rushed back in a hurry. You're back, there's not much to eat at home, I just went to buy groceries. I said, oh. I was dragging my suitcase to go out. He blocked the door, don't go. Let go. Please. I miss you so much. I looked straight into his eyes bluntly, is that all you want to say? He pursed his lips. Firmly expressing his fragility, he was stubbornly unwilling to confess. I sneered, let go. 13. On the third day of staying at the hotel, the whole circle knew that I was sleeping alone. Nina Yu wanted to introduce me to her younger school brother. She left midway, and I endured the boredom, accompanying my little brother to watch a vulgar love movie. I was about to part ways with my little brother. Ethan Lu didn't know where he came from. He picked up a bag of cash and threw it at the person directly. The little brother ran away hugging the bag, afraid that Ethan Lu would regret it. My temples were throbbing. What's your problem? Ethan Lu said with a cold face, it's no problem. Preventing others from prostituting is a civic duty. Me? Which eye did you see it with? I saw it with both eyes. Ethan Lu cursed sharply, male prostitute. It was the first time I heard such dirty words from Ethan Lu. My rebellious psychology immediately came up. Why are you meddling? I can date whoever I want. If you dare tell my parents again, I'll fight you. Ethan Lu threatened, I'll tear down everyone you find, let's fight, I can die. Amazing, brother, you can die, but you can't tell the truth. 13. I could see Ethan Lu's car following me through the rearview mirror. When I turned onto the road that clearly led home, Ethan Lu finally realized where I was going. The moment he overtook me, I laughed in the driver's seat. I got home first. On the coffee table next to the single sofa, lay Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream, which I had read last time. Turning it over, it was no longer the page I had read. But it stopped at, I am your spaniel, and, Demetrius, the more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Ethan Lu put on little puppy's hoodie, carrying a shopping bag, and just came in. I sized up his hastily changed appearance, his drooping hair, his wet and yearning eyes. Why didn't he want to be Ethan Lu and like to be little puppy? I signaled him to come over, handed him the book, and asked him to read it. He held the book, but his eyes were locked on me. Yet do I measure out my length, love-wounded, to tread on this vile earth. What should I do? But follow? Grin on his humors, smile at his injuries. And when obediently, his go he goes. By no means cross him? What care I what I am? So I please him? Herein I will be wise. I am your spaniel, and, Demetrius, the more you beat me, I will fawn on you. Use me but as your spaniel, spurn me, strike me, neglect me, lose me, only give me leave, unworthy as I am, to follow you. What worser place can I beg in your love? And yet a place of dignity, than to be used as you do a spaniel? He cried. Big tears fell on the back of my foot, very hot, very hot. He lowered his head even more until his forehead touched my foot humbly. He rubbed his cheek and kept calling out, Xiaosu, Xiaosu. I was silent. I didn't want to bully him like this. Although I was a little happy when he cried for no reason. I didn't use much force to pull him up. He obediently fell into the single sofa and asked me, do you really have to get rid of Ethan Lu? As if he had made some kind of determination. I lightly fanned him, what are you talking about? He asked me stubbornly with red eyes, do you hate him so much that you have to get rid of him? I straddled his legs and slapped him again. Feeling his untimely polite stand. I caressed his beautiful cheeks and reminded him, actually, I don't hate him that much. I just hope he doesn't always talk back to me and cause trouble. I hope he can say something nice to me. His eyes were bright as stars, looking at me brightly, almost blurting out. I hooked out a gift from the side. There's a gift, do you want it? It was a collar and leash. 14. Everything was as good as before with little puppy. Ethan Lou regained control of my schedule. He wanted to join me and the Yu siblings for dinner if we didn't agree. He pulled out the chair and sat down directly. Seeing that Nina Yu was also there, he was obviously relieved. So, he put on a fake smile. Long time no see, Nina. When did you come back from abroad? After exchanging pleasantries, Nina whispered to me, the sun is coming out from the west. Young Master Lu actually took the initiative to talk to a nobody like me. Ethan Lu slightly loosened his collar, revealing the black collar on his neck. Nina exclaimed, I went. Naughty. I covered my forehead, trying not to laugh. In a great mood, I took the initiative to talk. Someone really has a life. He secretly became a dog outside. Ethan Lu nodded, not quite agreeing. I didn't secretly become one. This is Master's reward for her little puppy. Nina made a wow shape with her mouth to show her shock. A snapping sound came. We all looked over. It was Chiyu who broke the chopsticks with a very calm expression. The chopsticks pierced his palm, and blood flowed out immediately. Brother. What's wrong with you? The waiter came in with a first aid kit to bandage Chiyu. Ethan Lu blocked my view and stuffed the leash into my hand. He whispered, don't look at him, take me away. So exciting. We ran out of the box, like we were eloping. At this moment, there was no social etiquette, no one else's eyes, nothing. The faster I ran with Ethan Lu, we took the elevator to the roof. It was windy. The sound of my heart beating was throbbing in my eardrums. Like a piece called Ethan Lu. What I had dreamed of getting, what I had hated and opposed because I couldn't get it, was finally about to be achieved. Only the last lesson was left. Ethan Lu hugged my waist from behind. I turned to look at him. His kiss was about to fall. I blocked his lips with my backhand. Apologize to me. The heat of his words pressed against my palm. I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I'm sorry, Xiao Su, I shouldn't have lied to you. I snorted, it's good that you know. Give my android back to me, it's worth more than 30 million. Okay. What else? I love you, Xiao Su. I wrapped the leash around my hand and said reservedly, let's see how you behave. 15. Everything was back to normal with little puppy. Ethan Lu regained control of my schedule. If we didn't agree, he would join my and the Yu siblings' dinner party. He pulled out his chair and sat down directly. Seeing that Nina Yu was also there, he was obviously relieved. So, he put on a fake smile. Long time no see, Nina. When did you come back from abroad? After exchanging pleasantries, Nina whispered to me, the sun is coming out from the west. Young Master Lu actually took the initiative to talk to a nobody like me. Ethan Lu slightly loosened his collar, revealing the black collar on his neck. Nina exclaimed, I went. Naughty. I covered my forehead, trying not to laugh. In a great mood, I took the initiative to talk. Someone really has a life. He secretly became a dog outside. Ethan Lu nodded, not quite agreeing. I didn't secretly become one. This is Master's reward for her little puppy. Nina made a wow shape with her mouth to show her shock. A snapping sound came. We all looked over. It was Chiyu who broke the chopsticks with a very calm expression. The chopsticks pierced his palm, and blood flowed out immediately. Brother. What's wrong with you? The waiter came in with a first aid kit to bandage Chiyu. Ethan Lu blocked my view and stuffed the leash into my hand. He whispered, don't look at him, take me away. So exciting. We ran out of the box, like we were eloping. At this moment, there was no social etiquette, no one else's eyes, nothing. The faster I ran with Ethan Lu, we took the elevator to the roof. It was windy. The sound of my heart beating was throbbing in my eardrums. Like a piece called Ethan Lu. What I had dreamed of getting, what I had hated and opposed because I couldn't get it, was finally about to be achieved. Only the last lesson was left. Ethan Lu hugged my waist from behind. I turned to look at him. His kiss was about to fall. I blocked his lips with my backhand. Apologize to me. The heat of his words pressed against my palm. I'm sorry. Sorry for what? I'm sorry, Xiao Su, I shouldn't have lied to you. I snorted, it's good that you know. Give my android back to me, it's worth more than 30 million. Okay. What else? I love you, Xiao Su. I wrapped the leash around my hand and said reservedly, let's see how you behave. 15. The real android was delivered in boxes. Wearing the clothes Ethan Lu wore as a little puppy. He also looked like a super hot, big-chested man-mom. But I couldn't bring myself to bind him. I looked for differences on the android with extremely critical eyes. The curvature of the eyelashes, the pursed corners of the mouth, the dark pupils, the gaze that always stuck to me, it was so similar. TSK. What are you staring at me for? The android spat out a sentence, I like you. I found it strange, do you know who I am? I like Xiao Su. Ethan Lu wouldn't be so perverted as to feed the android with emotions as data, right? I had the android report the parameters. Sure enough, emotions were also included. When reading the hardware parameters, one caught my attention. Special functions cannot be activated temporarily due to hardware defects. I directly pulled open the android's waistband. It was smooth inside. I picked up my phone and called Ethan Lu. I want to report a repair. Where's his thing? Who told you to take it off? Repairman Ethan Lu arrived quickly. The android opened the door. Ethan Lu ordered him to stay in the guest room. Cannot execute. I want to follow Xiao Su. Ethan Lu roared, are you worthy? Get out. Seeing that Ethan Lu was about to fight his android at the door, I lazily mediated. The android went into the guest room. Only Ethan Lu and I were left, looking at each other. I sat down and said to Ethan Lu playfully, Master Lu, there's only one single sofa in my house, you don't mind, right? He lowered his eyes to look at me. I said again, my family's android is missing parts, how do you think we should repair it? Ethan Lu was about to kneel down again. I lightly touched his knees with my toes, it's no fun for men to kneel too much. Xiao Su, don't torture me. Can you not use it, can you replace it with me? I asked, are you pretending to be an android because you're afraid that he'll expose the fact that you like me? Yes, I'm afraid. He crawled forward. Its emotional module will be triggered as soon as it meets you. I'm afraid it will ask you to caress it like a dog. I'm afraid that you will hate me even more when you see its ugliness. I'm even more afraid that you will really caress it. The closer he got to me, one leg was already half kneeling on the edge of the sofa. I was completely shrouded in his shadow. He was oppressive, but he called my name pleadingly. Xiao Su, have mercy on me. If you need a dog, why can't it be me? Haven't I been doing well before? When did you start liking me? He emphasized, I love you, since I was a child. Why did you throw away the painting I gave you? This was the starting point of our breakup. He said, because I was too jealous, you gave what you gave me to others. Then later, you moved in and lived here often. We learned to be sworn siblings from TV. Why didn't you recognize me as your third sister? They thought you hated me and ostracized me. If it weren't for Joe and Nina, I would have been depressed. Ethan Lu, don't mention Joe. You said you were going to marry a movie star who was more than 100 years older than you. You don't like younger people. This was really a misunderstanding. I explained dryly, when I was a child, I thought we would never grow up, my parents would always be my parents, and we children would always be children. Liam Olsen was born to be a super handsome movie star, so. In short, I don't want you to call me elder sister. But calling you elder sister is my current thing. Really? He got very close to me and asked softly in my ear, elder sister, can I? So good. I asked back, can you what? Ethan Lu, can I smell your hair? His nose carefully sniffed my curly hair. Damn it, he dared to enjoy himself more than me. He asked again, can I? What? Can I lick your eyelashes? I was about to lose, don't ask me anymore. Can I kiss your lips? Elder sister, can I? I struggled to stretch an arm out from under the quilt. Ethan Lu grabbed it back and placed it on his sweaty chest. I wanted to say no, it was almost dawn, but I coughed first. Ethan Lu got out of bed and soon brought back a glass of warm water. I leaned against the head of the bed and moistened my throat. Ethan Lu snuggled in my arms like a gigolo, leaning on my shoulder. He asked the classic line shyly. Then what are we now? My voice was hoarse. Elder sister-dog relationship. 16. The elder sister-dog relationship lasted less than 3 months. Ethan Lu was anxious to get married and forced marriage together with my parents. After the engagement banquet, Ethan Lu was like a chicken-blooded dog, eager to try. I was exhausted and solemnly declared that there must be a truce tonight. A notification sound rang on my phone, and I clicked it open. It was a message from Joe. You and Ethan Lu are engaged? I want to be the other man. Ethan Lu hugged me, saw the content over my shoulder. He said cuttingly in a coquettish tone, since he likes to be the other man so much, I'll find him 100 clients tonight. I turned off the screen, ignore him. Let's get married tomorrow? Why are you in such a hurry to get married after just getting engaged? Ethan Lu proposed marriage in a tone with no clues, so I answered casually. But when I looked over, I realized his eyes were filled with unease and possessiveness. Okay. I opened my arms and accepted his tight embrace with all my strength. Let's go get married tomorrow.